Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. This session primarily is focused on showcasing the cutting-edge technologies that are going to be the driving force for our energy transformation that we are looking at. We have a very, very esteemed panel here with us. We have with us Arvind Singh ji, CEO TP Central Odisha Distribution Limited. We also have with us industry partners. And as ACS rightly pointed out, that we should try and keep this session crisp and within the timelines. So with that, let us start with the presentations. I'll request at the onset Arvind Singh ji to start with his presentation, which is about privatizing Discoms, a step towards energy efficiency and consumer empowerment. Right, please.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am representing the state of Odisha, and we'll take you through the story of the transformation of the distribution business in the state of Odisha. So let me begin my presentation. Can we have the next slide? So before we go there, this journey of distribution reforms actually the story started in Delhi. And Tata Power, along with BSES, Yamuna and Rajdhani, there were 3 Discoms were formed. And if you look at the numbers, you'll see the transformation that has happened over a period of now almost 13 years, 23 years. So we inherited something like 53% losses, a network which is not reliable, long power cuts. The database was not good enough. The IT systems were not good, no computerization. And from there, if you see the numbers on the right-hand side, that's the transformation that happened in Delhi. With all the experience that we gained in Delhi, we took the challenge of taking all the 4 Discoms. This is the trajectory of AT&C loss. On paper, it was 48 something, but actually it was calculated to be 53%. And from there, we have come down to stage of 5 point something plus. Multiple interventions, not only limited to IT and technology, but also HR practices, the way we brought in new technology, the way we had prevented theft from happening, and a lot of government support. So whenever you have this model of public-private partnership, while the private sector brings with it the managerial expertise and technology, we do require the support of the government to ensure that things fall in place. This is some of the technology that we introduced. The ERP system was brought in very early, revenue management system, call centers. If you have a registered mobile number, your database comes on the screen. Smart metering, SCADA was something which we brought in very early. Communication technology, automated demand response, distribution management. So going beyond 11 kV and looking at the LT network also. Field force automation. Now, of course, Delhi is at a very, very advanced stage. The only advantage that we have, since we borrow the experience from there, Odisha had the advantage of doing it in a much lesser time frame than what we took in Delhi. Odisha journey of transformation started very early. They wanted to privatize much before the Electricity Act came in, but because of certain reasons, it didn't work out well. So the second phase of the transformation, which happened at around 2020, that's when the Central Odisha was privatized on 1st June 2020, and subsequently back-to-back the other 3 Discoms. It so happened that all the 4 Discoms are with Tata Power, and we have completed 5 years in the Central Odisha and 4 years for the rest of the Discoms. So there were certain conditions for sale. There was a qualification requirement, then the technical requirement, and the financial requirement. So Tata Power qualified for all 4 of them. And initially it was supposed to be 100% privatization, but later on the government decided that we'll go with a 51-49 model where 51% is owned by Tata Power. So these are certain bidding terms were there. So it was mandatory to spend capex. So all the 4 Discoms had to spend, were committed to spend 5,000 plus in the first 5 years. There were also certain commitments of bringing down the AT&C loss trajectory. And the upside gain was to be retained by the Discom, while the losses also had to be retained. So nothing was passed on to the consumers. It was very well defined. On the vesting order date, no losses were carried forward to the new Discom. So all the losses were, so we got a clean balance sheet. That was one big advantage. And government, as I said, decided to have not only 49%, but what was different from Delhi was the chairman of the 4 companies was the chief secretary of the state. Although the majority stake, the management control was with Tata Power, but the chairman on the board was. So that brought in a lot of synergy with the government. This whole process was run by by OERC. So it was the regulatory department which was running the whole bid, the sale, and the final monitoring and handing over. So vesting order, as I mentioned, had certain conditions that we had to mention. So there's a 10-year trajectory which has been given to all the 4 Discoms on AT&C loss reductions. Then there's a commitment on investing in the earlier model, probably there was no commitment on investing in CapEx. So that is one of the major reasons they found out was the reason for failure. CapEx, as we know, improves the condition of the network, it brings down the losses. Then there were other conditions like the earlier Gridco used to control these Discoms. So we were committed to collect 1,000 crores of earlier areas of the pre-vesting period, and there was a 10% and 20% incentive on that. Of course, the fact that we collected 2,000 crores is another story. So everybody benefited, all the stakeholders benefited out of that. The past litigations, the impact was not given to us. So all the litigations with the other vendors, all the payments that we had to make to the earlier vendors was taken as additional service liability, and that was also passed through the consumer and not loaded onto the new Discoms. So that model basically helped a lot in running the show. So this I've already mentioned. So the impact on operational efficiency, financial sustainability, capital investment, better standard of living, future readiness and technology, and workforce development. So if you see the ratio of employees, so one of the conditions was that no retrenchment can be allowed, which is a standard clause in all such partnerships. So 80% of the people are from the earlier workforce. They have been reskilled. The stagnation promotions have been brought in, and out of 5,000 in the central Odisha, 1,000 are new people from Mumbai and Delhi from Tata Power, but the rest of the people are there. They are the one who are running the show. So that also helped us in the last 5 years. The stakeholders are government, state entities. Gridco is the one which actually buys power and distributes to the distribution companies, especially directly Discoms don't buy. They were making huge losses. Now they have become profitable, not on a cumulative basis, but on an annual basis, Gridco has become profitable. The 4 Discoms also have become profitable. I'll show you the numbers later on. Employees are, of course, benefited. Lots of HR new practices, jobs for spouses, the children. Consumers, of course, they got a much ethical culture. So those things that we hear about the department not being totally ethical, that has been not eliminated, but there's a long way that investors, Tata Power and the government, the equity participation is from both have benefited. Dividend has not been declared yet, but there's a good amount of PAT that has been generated. So this is a number that actually happened. This is what against 1,000 crores of recovery of earlier, we have done 19. Smart meters have been installed. CapEx, almost 5,700 crores. New lines, GIS mapping. So every asset is on GIS. Now, once you map everything on GIS, then the integration of GIS with SCADA and other systems ensures that you can implement many other new technologies. What you see on the right, on your right, is that Power Distribution Technology Center. It's a one of its kind where on SCADA you can control all the 4 Discoms. Now this is not anywhere in India. This is the first time it is done in the state of Odisha. Odisha also, as we all know, goes through cyclone at least once in a year. And if there's a major impact in one of the areas, the control can shift here for all the 4 Discoms. We are ISO compliant, quality management system, environment management, safety. That was another big aspect. There were too many accidents happening, not only with employees, but public, animal. That has been brought down under control. And somebody mentioned about cyber security. So we are certified under 27,000 on cyber security also. These are the numbers. If you see primarily the consumer base is more on the domestic side, very less agriculture, very less industries. But the consumption of industrial is almost 33%. With this energy mix, it's always a challenge to improve. But still, if you see that AT&C losses cumulatively on Odisha basis has moved from almost 30% to now 16.5, which happens to be better than the all India average of 17.6 of FY24. So that is some improvement that has come there. Another point that is to be noticed, the retail tariff. When we took over, it would increase by 20 paise and then 30 paise. And since 23, there has been no increase in retail tariff and there's hardly any regulatory asset. So that's the level of success that has been brought to the state of Odisha. In fact, there has been a reduction of 10 paise in FY25. This year also there was no, and there's a BPL category which got a fixed, it used to be 80, now it is brought down to 70. So all round improvement for all stakeholders. This is what I was talking about, what it was earlier. So before we took over, we've already talked about other aspects, but the losses if you see, and today cumulative PAT is 1243 as compared to 10,000 crores of losses of the Discoms. If you see Gridco on the right hand side, Gridco had 1382, 109 for it, and for the first time in FY22 they made a profit. So they get their money of power purchase precisely on the date with rebate. So there is no backlog on that. And on the top, as I said, past area collection, we have done it for Gridco. So Gridco has been basically able to reduce their outstandings. Now, this is what safety improvement was a big initiative. And we spent a lot of capex. Of course, the OERC helped us. All-round improvement, not only providing PPE, training, developing psychological safety, ensuring the education happens to the grassroots level, induction training, nobody gets into the system without training. That has helped in bringing down a lot of R&R and recognition of people. That has also helped in ensuring a high level of safety. These are some of the photographs of what all has been done. So this concept of neon tester, discharge rod, although most of us know about it, was not prevalent there. So that has been, we have got practice yards in every division. So people practice on how to be safe and then that gets implemented. Public safety awareness, public incidents have come down a lot and multiple initiatives have been taken. Reliability improvement, one of the biggest things that the consumer desires. So a lot of improvement when it came to reducing the sag of the lines, operating conductors, changing power transformers. Distribution transformer failure rate was almost 8%, as brought down to less than 3% today. This fuse call center, fuse failure, when it happens, there's an app in which you can directly get a report of where exactly is the failure, and that is monitored through that. So escalation mechanism is there. Then we have got a system of adopting gram panchayats where the loss levels are as high as 70%. We have brought it down drastically, and that's one of the reasons why technical losses and AT&C losses have come down to a large extent. These are some of the pictures. We brought in the concept of RMUs, which is almost non-existent there. Group breakers were there, rural feeders, segregation from urban feeders. IT and OT integration. So SCADA is already implemented there in all 4 Discoms. We have got GIS completely implemented. Of course, funding was given by OERC. And multiple interventions, as I said, SAP is already there. And this is the technology center which I was talking about, which can control from all 4 Discoms and control from Bhubaneswar. So all people are sitting there who can train for all 4 Discoms. There's a Suraksha Kavach app through which we control how outages are taking place. So unauthorized taking of outages, working on HT network, that's a big scale. So every person's name is there, who's authorized, who's not authorized, permit to work. That is administrative control on bringing in safety. The use of technology has gone far ahead now. GIS, we map, as I mentioned about cyclones. So cyclones are mapped and we know exactly where it's come to. So we are fully prepared with men, material, food, and we ensure that restoration. Last time the Dana cyclone which hit, within less than 24 hours we could recover 96% of the 10 lakh consumers which are affected. So that's the stage that we are in today. Theft identification, one of the biggest reasons, rampant theft in rural areas. As I mentioned, a large number of network and consumers are in rural areas. This had to be brought down. It has come down drastically, still a lot of work to be done, but we are moving in the right direction. Customer care centers, every division has a customer care center. And social media handle we have. So we also accept complaints not only on phone calls, but through Twitter and Instagram, and we address it with the shortest point interval. This has been very popular with the urban consumers, but the rurals, they still rely on calling the call center. A lot of HR efforts, which I mentioned, leadership development, training, XLRI, IIM Calcutta, skill development, exposure visit to Mumbai distribution and Delhi distribution, that helped a lot. Employee engagement, as we know, when employees are engaged, you don't have to push them to do good work. So a lot of new initiatives, participation of the families, CSR initiatives. Since Discoms were not making profits, there was no CSR activity. Today we are there in every village, with a whole amount of CSR activities being done. And it's a beginning. So we spent around 4 crores, not much, but still it's a good beginning. Multiple awards received by all the 4 Discoms at all forums for many activities, not only CSR, but even for other safety and other things like that. And Puri Rath Yatra last 3 years has been 100% interruption free. There's a big event that happens. It's an international event. And I think we are moving forward in the right direction. I just wanted to bring this to the notice of everyone in the August gathering, how Odisha has been transformed in the last 5 years. So thank you.
Thank you. That was quite an informative presentation.